Everybody, this is Desiree from An Empowered Woman and Homework, and we're here today on Friday night with our Let's Talk Success Mastermind dinners. And this month we decided to go out to dinner as opposed to being in for dinner. But nevertheless, our mentor is an awesome young lady. I've known her for years, and I'm hoping that you can hear everything okay. But her name is Laura Neubauer, and she has not only one but two or three businesses that I've known her through. So I'm going to let her tell you that story and take you down memory lane. Hi, Laura. How are you doing today?
Hi, Desiree. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for meeting with us. We have Petra that's here with us, and myself, and whoever else joins us. So, you have been, I know you from your first, the business, the transportation test. So tell us about that and what, got started. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur all your life? Or what?
Yes. A matter of fact, from high school, worked a couple of jobs in high school, but then I went to college for marketing and advertising and finished short of a degree. So I'm not a college graduate, but I've had several businesses, from small businesses, retail businesses, delivery type businesses, multi-level marketing businesses, and none of them really just hit it out of the park. It paid the bills, but that was about it. But then I was in the transportation industry, so I got a lot of knowledge working from the ground up, and decided in 2014 to jump in and start my own delivery business. And I started in the Los Angeles County and then branched out to Southern California region. And then within the next 5 years, built it in a multi-million-dollar company, competing with FedEx and UPS in the western part of the United States, delivering up to 30,000 packages a day, and having 7 terminals around the western part of the United States, and about 350 drivers and specialty agents taking care of the work that wasn't in the California region.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had that for about 10, 11 years.
And you survived.
And I survived. So when people say stress level, they don't know what stress level is like unless they know the workload of the delivery business is ever changing. So when you have the same workforce and your workflow fluctuates constantly, and then you put in Christmas holidays on top of that, and the delivery services you have to provide during that period, the same workforce. It is challenging, but it's also a business that you receive an instant report card every day.
Really? Why is that?
The service you provided your clients. You don't have to wait for a P&L. You don't have to wait for a report. You don't have to wait till month end. At the end of the day, you can sit in your car and drive home and know if your customers were satisfied, not satisfied, and exactly give yourself, measure up every single day.
So when you got into that business, did you buy that business or you started from scratch?
No, I bought one company. Mm-hmm. I thought I was buying one company. But I wasn't really ready to purchase the company, but somehow the broker convinced me not only to buy one company, but buy 3 companies at the same time and sign off companies at the same time and sign off on a $1 million note. And so I had
quite a broker.
So I had an incentive for survival, and that's probably why the business did so well, because I was fully committed now, fully committed to the note, fully committed to my family, fully committed to making this a success. So I started out with 3 companies and then acquired a couple of other companies along the way to grow, and then use delivery agents out in other areas, service areas, where we wanted to grow. And when we got enough volume, then we either acquire another company or put in one of our terminals and headquarters in the area.
Had you ever worked in something that big? Have you ever owned a company that big with 350?
No, I have never
eyeballs?
owned. I've managed transportation companies, from overnight delivery to same day delivery to armored car to flight next flight out packages to having 400 bicycle riders in New York City, and bicycle riders in San Francisco and Denver, Colorado. So I've managed large fleets like that, but I've never owned a business that large.
So was it easy then, that transition to manage that much? I mean, I can't imagine that managing something. I don't even have a desire to manage anything that big, but Because it would just be frightening. Was it easy for you to take that on?
Well, it was easy as far as my expertise, but easy as far as accepting all the responsibility. I had to take ownership at the very beginning. So I basically was completely transparent, or at least 90% transparent with my workforce and my management team, and told them, year one's not going to be like you're working at an established company who's had all these policies and procedures and the way we do business, And so I kind of compared it to my two daughters. At that time, I had like a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter. I guess a little bit. An 8-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter. And we're a big softball family. So I said, my 8-year-old's been playing for about 3 or 4 years. I can take the ball out in the backyard, throw the ball to her, she'll throw the ball to me. Throw the ball to her, throw the ball back to me. She's very experienced. I said, the company's the same way. That established company, and now you come in, it's a brand new large business for me. So I said, I take my 3-year-old, I roll the ball to her, maybe she can guide it, and I'm chasing it when she throws it back. I said, in year 2 or 3, we're going to know exactly the answers. We'll have all the answers. So if you have a question, we'll get the answer. But, as we grow, we'll grow together, and we'll find those answers together.
And they accepted that?
And they accepted that.
A lot of the team stayed on?
I had, in 11 years, one person left the management team.
Wow.
In 11 years. And that is probably because he wanted to go back to school, and there just wasn't another position that accommodated him. There wasn't anything else but that. But all my staff basically knew they built that company like it was their own company. So from that day, when I gave that speech to them, they knew they were here to build it. So they weren't coming to a company, they were building a company. And they felt great pride with that. So
I think that's really, really key, because that's something that not every entrepreneur, including myself, has a knack for. We hire people, or we bring people on, but it's just really, how do you get them to buy in? And I think it's more than, you've been transparent, but I think it's even more than that. I think it just has to be something, because I have people that have been with companies for 15 years, and people say that millennials don't do that, and this generation doesn't do that, but they have with them.
Right.
And so it's something really secretive. I mean, that's about that, because it makes a difference. It make or breaks your company. You can get stalling, or you're moving at a very slow pace if you don't have the right team. But you can actually take it and run with it, even with limited resources, if you have the right buy-ins from your team.
Absolutely. And not only a buy-in from your employees, I think it's very important to have a buy-in from your clients, especially your larger clients, and make them part of your team. And that's the key to our success, was referrals, and very large referrals from some of our major customers, because whenever we had a change in the company, we brought those large customers in to the decision-making room. And then, if we were doing a website rebuild, if we were doing a technology rebuild, we'd bring these large customers, because we wanted them to be not only comfortable with the change, but we wanted their buy-in that they were helping improve this company. So it's not always perfect in the delivery business. So if there was a mistake or a challenge for them, we weren't fired immediately, because it would be like they were firing themselves.
Right.
So since they helped to build the company, through a service failure, we could talk through that service failure a little bit better, and we weren't always challenged that they were going out to bid, because they felt that they were really part of the company, and especially competing with FedEx and UPS, it was like a David and Goliath. So they wanted to see the success, us go, go, go. So, they wouldn't even think about taking the contract out to bid.
Wow. And so you say bring them in, so you physically bring them into your office and say we're having a meeting, or, now we have technology, so you would say, how would you approach that?
We'd maybe give them a demo of the website, what they liked, what they didn't like, new color and branding, how does that make you feel, we're going to do this. So sometimes, most of the time it was just conference calls, or I would go out to visit on a client call versus them coming into the office. Yes.
That's interesting. That's a great takeaway, because we're rebuilding our websites now, and I need to stay better communicated with our investors. because that they can feel more part of it, so that they will be encouraged to refer other potential investors or invest more. So I think that that would be a great tactic for many people in business to implement.
Yeah, they don't always think of that. They think they
No.
have to be perfect,
Right.
and they hope that the client base accepts the change. And we all keep our fingers crossed. But if you bring them in, they understand why you're making the change. And like I said, they won't fire you. They won't fire you. And we don't want our clients to fire us, right?
Right,
So
absolutely.
it's a very big success technique, and they tell the story. I helped build this company. Maybe you should use this company. And that's why the referrals come in. So it'd be very good for you for your investor.
And then even for you, I encourage client appreciation dinners, like events, like when I was even real estate, like either once for Easter. Every year we do Easter egg hunt. We invite all my clients, and they would bring their kids, and it's time for families, people to get to know. That way they could say, "How's your kid?" or "How's this?" And it's like an icebreaker. Or we did Christmas things. We did wine and water tastings, just different things. Almost every month we did things, and my sons used to say, "Well, Mommy, you invite all of them, and they're not going to come because they're in Florida, or they're not going to come to a wine tasting." I said, but the fact is that they know that I'm in touch with them. They know that I'm thinking of them.
Yes.
And eventually, so many times, eventually someone would say, "Well, I'm coming in because you've invited me so much, I feel so guilty for not ever attending."
Yes.
But at least there was a way for us to communicate, and we do the client appreciation, like your builders, do the client appreciation dinners with them. Just they would get that one-on-one. They feel like they know you, and then people feel like they know you. It's different, like in trust factor.
Yes, and we did that in several different ways. Like the big CEOs or CFOs would always sign the contract, and most delivery companies would go and take them for the holiday lunch and a steak dinner and wine and dine them, where we would go in and actually purchase lunch for the entire company or the warehouse workers or the production people and payroll, because they're the ones that are going to notice if there's a service failure. They're the ones that have interactions with us day in, day out. They're the ones calling our customer service department. It's not the guy that signed the contract.
Right.
So it was good, and they don't always get rewarded.
Yes.
So we did that as a part of client appreciation. But then, really, when social media marketing came out, I'm kind of crazy, but social media marketing kind of came out. Everybody's trying to find content, to be the expert out there, and we did some of that marketing as well. But we had a gimmick that every Friday we celebrated Pi Day, and it was just funny because it rhymed with Friday.
Pi Day.
Pi Day. And so my customer service department would, change their verbiage. If there was a 3-day weekend, they'd be on the phone, "Are you leaving early on Pi Day?" And then to the clients, they go, "What's that about?" But then we'd go and start delivering pies to our customers for Pi Day.
Oh.
And we asked them to sign a contract so their company could celebrate Pi Day as well. And we'd take a picture and we'd have them sign this contract, and we'd give them this certificate that looked like they won the Business of the Year from the Los Angeles Business Journal or, Chamber of Commerce or something. And all it really said is we promise to celebrate Pi Day with Deliver It. But it would not only get our customers engaged with us, it would get their clients engaged because of all the tagging and sharing, and they'd share, we got honored with Pi Day. And then customers would call in, "How do we get honored? How do you come out to our offices on a Friday?" And it was just something that caught on. And then when it was actually Pi Day, that was a big celebration over the years. It was like Christmas for delivery. But
There actually is a Pi Day?
Pi Day, yeah. Sometime during the year it is. But that was our thing. Because it had nothing to do with the transportation company.
Right.
It had nothing to do with bringing C's candy to or donuts to a client. It was just something unique. And
Every Friday?
Every Friday we'd
Wow.
pick a customer in our geographic area, and either myself or my customer service manager would go out and call them the day before and say, "You're being celebrated. What flavor pie do you want?" And our bill at Marie Callender's
I was going to
was...
say, where'd you get the pies?
Marie Callender's.
Oh my gosh, they're probably missing you.
Yeah. And go deliver, 2 pies, 1 pie, 10 pies, whatever it took, for the corporation. So
The things like that are really important, and I touch on the fact that you appreciate the fact that you touched on the content, because you do need things to share, as opposed to this is where I'm eating or this is what we're doing. So things like that, it becomes contagious because people want to be a part of something, want to be celebrated of something. So that is really, really valuable and important.
And it was fun for these companies too.
Yes.
Sometimes it was
Just broke
proper
up the line.
etiquette that, let's show a picture of cutting pie. Let's just say, oh, I'm having strawberry pie. Or sometimes it would be someone on the workforce, trying to take a piece of pie to the president of the company, or something.
Yeah,
have all
face.
different types of fun of whatever that company really wanted to do to celebrate it. So it was fun.
Very good, very good. So when you grew, was it planned and strategic, or did this all start happening? Did the business start coming and you had to accommodate it?
It was planned. I had an exit strategy at 5 years, and I really didn't want a business I had to work in, so my kids were young, like I said earlier. So my plan was to work myself out of the job in 5 years. So like you, I had a commute from South Orange County to San Fernando Valley, and every day. And I said, I'm not going to do that every day. So first year in business, I went 5 days. Second year in business, I went 4 days. Third year, I went 3, 4, and the fifth year, I was only going 1 day a week. And I only went so they could see me. I had no reason to go other than that. I could work from a private office around the corner from my house. I set up a private office, and so I had the lifestyle and the work that I wanted. So I didn't think it was going to grow as much as it did. And again, that was providing great service, not being the same as the other competitors, doing things that the other delivery companies were not doing, which is very important, because a lot of times we look at our competitors and we think we only need to improve on their product. They're making a delivery at 10 a.m., I'll do a delivery at 9:30 a.m. They're doing this, I'm doing that. And you always think that you have to just do something better, to compete. But sometimes you should just really look at them and to see what they're not doing, and then develop a product or service that will. They can't do it. They just can't do it. Several years ago, I went to Worldport in Louisville, Kentucky, and for UPS. I think in the middle of the night, you see all the planes coming in and packages going over and conveyor belts and whatever. And it was a midnight tour, and there's probably 50 people on this tour, all in different businesses. And I would be asking these questions, and they go, you know something about the delivery business. What do you do? And I said, number one, I fix UPS's mistakes as a good book of my business. And the second is I do things that you can't do. And that's my success. So,
Wow.
Yeah, because if they have a package that goes to the Los Angeles hub and it's due in San Diego, they just figure we'll get that to San Diego sometime, even though it's due today. Whereas my company can actually go to Los Angeles, pick it up from the UPS hub, take it down to San Diego, and deliver it that day to satisfy their customer. And they would never be able to fix that mistake in their system.
Fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, because they're too big.
They're too big, and they just have their line hauls going at night and not these quick goods.
So with that, do you remember when you did you have a certain benchmark, like that $1 million mark, whatever? Do you remember when you hit that and what you were doing and what had happened and how you celebrated that?
I had a $1 million book of business to begin with.
Okay.
So my goal was to pay off the $1 million loan. That was my first goal, more so than growing the business. And we had a 5-year note, and we paid it off in 2.5 years.
Wow.
So that was our first success. Okay, and then we really started growing in different industries and new and upcoming industries. For one example, like the food industry. You buy Gary's gluten bowls, right, for your gluten-free diet. And they were always using the larger brand name delivery services. Well, people would get their deliveries during the day. People would come home from work at night, and they'd see their dinner, breakfast, lunch for the next day. They'd come home the next day, they'd get their package, they'd see their dinner, breakfast, and lunch. And so I started going to these kitchens, because there's so many boutique diets out there, especially in the Los Angeles market, or Southern California as a whole. And I said, people's lives don't start with dinner, breakfast, and lunch. People get up and they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
The other way around.
And that's how you should be packaging, and that's how your customers should be receiving those packages. And they said, well, that can't happen because we don't want the food to just stay at the client's refrigerator till the next day. I said, what if I delivered them by 6 o'clock in the morning? What if I went into your kitchen at 10 p.m. at night
Pick it up.
and picked it up, and that was on your client's doorstep at 6 a.m. in the morning? They'd get up, they'd open their door with coffee, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be there. And it revolutionized the whole specialty kitchen market.
Duh.
But again, the major players, UPS and FedEx, cannot do that type of business in their system. So it's going out and being creative and creating new products like that. Grew the business. The referrals from our customers were huge. Looking in advance for your clientele. Who's playing the big M&A game? You know, what industry is buying other companies and growing bigger? You provide a hospital with A1 impeccable service, and you find a hospital branch that is acquiring hospitals under their brand name, whether it's St. Joseph's or Little Company of Mary or Providence Health Systems. You don't have to do any selling because you already have the one contract. And as they acquire, your contract just got larger. And as they acquire, your contract just gets larger and larger and larger and larger. So that was another key to our success. We just looked who was in the M&A market coming in the next 1 to 3 years, and trying to get deep in their vendor pool and providing exceptional service.
Wow. So you planned from the beginning that you were building it to sell?
Yes.
So but this was longer than 5 years, wasn't it?
Yes, because I had offers in year one to be acquired.
Mm-hmm.
So not now, I haven't even started yet. I had an offer in year two. Not now, I haven't even started yet. Or maybe the price wasn't right either, and I said, you better take my asking price now because in 5 years it's not going to be the same. And so I thought 5 years was going to be my exit strategy, and I was just having too much fun. Too much fun. And we just kept on getting bigger and bigger. But sometimes, some of the challenges are you get bigger. Sometimes the workforce thinks, your pockets are getting bigger as well. So you get a whole workforce challenge as well at that time, and trying to keep everybody happy, and even happy people. A large workforce, there's issues, right?
Yes.
And so I said, well, maybe we'll see what we do with the 10-year mark. So about 10 years, I said, I think I'm getting ready to prep to sell. So at that time, I was still self-managing. Really, I think we had one salesperson. So, that's how we grew. I mean, we didn't have a fleet of salespeople. So I started hiring salespeople, and I hired some executive roles, an executive VP, an executive VP of operations, and started to build the skeleton so it could survive without me. And that's really what I wanted it to do, is survive without me. I did not want to depart and 30% of the clients all of a sudden, leave. So I wanted to make sure it was self-sufficient first.
So was it just you most of that time?
Most of that time. I'd said operations manager, but they weren't at a VP level or strategic level. They were more at an operational day-to-day business level.
So I just don't know how you can handle all of that. Like, what did you like? Is it just something that you have a talent for, or is it easier as you do it, or you grow into it, or?
I think you always have to educate yourself as a business owner. You have to, listen to the trends. You have to go to some experts. You have to go to some resources, figure out how other people have done it, running the business for 10 years by myself, sometimes I think that was a big mistake. If I could do it all over again, I probably would have brought that executive team in a lot earlier. But at the time I was exiting, I was actually thinking of franchising the model. Letting the day-to-day operations or deliver it as it stood at that time to run to the new ownership with a deal that I could franchise any place out of the states that we provided service to. But then I decided to get out of the delivery business altogether.
And so during that time, that wonderful 10 years, there must have been some moments, some very scary, challenging moments.
Sure. Let's start with the first 30 days. I think that's probably what you're alluding to. So, unlike building a business where the business grows and your expenses grow at the same time, acquiring companies, your expenses are already established. And I really didn't think of that when I was signing a note in mid-December and trying to open the company in like 17 days during the holiday season, right? And so January 1st, we are open for business. And we're doing services and we're getting billing out and money's coming in here and there and paying a little bit, whatever. But the end of the month, January 31st, which happens to be my birthday, is the first payroll. So on Friday, and that was going to be a Monday. And so on Friday, I said, well, I better get my act together and get the checks ready and push that magic button. And the payroll's $40,000. The next thing I do, I go to my bank account because I had no capital. I had absolutely zero capital, and I had about $4,000 in the bank. And I knew that I had several $100,000 in receivables out in the first 30 days, but most people pay net 45, net 60, and I had not planned for that. So I went to the bank. Bank has money. Bank can help me. And although it was a long time relationship with my personal accounts, we all know in the state of California how hard it is to get our statement of information, right? And so I probably got that mid-January, which means my business account had only been open 10 days or so, right? So, so they said, we really can't help you, and this is a new account, and so I didn't. So it was the middle of the day, so I started calling people for help. That's probably number one lesson. Don't be, too shy to call people for help, because a lot of people don't want to seem weak, and ask for help. And I like to flip that lesson on people and say, if people call you, unless they call you every week and there's a nuisance, so that's another story. But if people call you in their time of need, I think you should feel special and that you have a very special relationship and should be honored. Feel honored that someone actually called you for help. And so if you feel like the person that's doing the asking, that the other person will be honored receiving that phone call, mentally it changes, that you're not so needy.
Right. You're not pitiful, you're not a failure or a loser.
And so asking for help, it can be powerful to yourself if you understand how the other person's receiving it. So I called. And I have friends with no money but creative ideas, on how to get through Monday. But no one could help. So bank was still open. So my next plan, after I got out of bed from crying for a few hours, I have $1 million loan, my company's going to crumble, my drivers aren't going to drive for me, and this is my birthday present on Monday, right? So I went to the bank and withdrew every dime I had, except for $1 to keep the accounts open, and went to Las Vegas for the weekend.
Did you gamble?
Yes. So that was my way to, and for the audience, I played roulette and craps. I am not a card player. My brain does not count that fast, but I'm a roulette and craps player. And to your audience, no, I did not make $40,000 on that trip. I did make a dent in it, but not the amount I needed. But when I came home on Sunday night, because I figured I have to face the company, I had a message that from a friend that says, I understand you need $40,000. I said, well, not exactly $40,000 anymore, but I do need some money. So we worked out the terms, I was confident I had the receivables out, and he said, don't worry, Laura, you will have the money in the bank, but it won't be in your bank till 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Well, that's a deal.
Okay, yeah.
And that was the very first policy that was ever written in the company. Remember I talked about policy books, but that was the very first one. You do not receive your paycheck until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. People would come in, I'm going to lunch, grab my check. No, not till 3 o'clock. And that policy stood for 10 years.
Wow.
And my employees did not know about that policy, why it was written, until I started public speaking and heard the story. They never knew, and they sat there and they go, I never knew we didn't have money, and that's why the policy was written. But it stood for 10 years.
Wow.
For 10 years.
Wow.
So that was,
That's
that was
scary.
it's
And
very
as you said, it's really hard to ask because people, there's judgment,
Right.
and just to say I need it, you just say I need it. Did you pay interest or anything like that? Or
Yes.
You did? You offered interest and you offered,
Yes.
you paid it back to them?
And the favor was returned later. The favor was returned later because at that time it was, mortgage industry,
And everything went belly
and it was
up.
2004 when they helped me, and then 2008, so I was able to repay the favor.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. That's really important because, again, cash flow for every business, no matter what it is, I think they have things can happen. People were sitting high in the mortgage business, and all of a sudden that happened, or
Right.
people in the farming business, something could happen. People in the other business. So every business is vulnerable
Right.
to something happening that was going to affect their cash flow, whether it's internal or external.
And I've been in the delivery business a long time. I put myself through college driving as a delivery driver. And at that time, the big accounts were Kodak. Remember, you take your film to the grocery store, drop it in the envelope, and, well, we were one of these drivers that went and collected all those envelopes and took them to the processing center. So that's, that's out of business.
Right, right.
Real estate industry. You had to ink every contract. You don't have to ink every contract today.
Right.
So that I remember charging $10,000 for a delivery business. I would see on the escrow papers. Thousands of dollars. Maybe not 10.
Yeah.
So many thousands.
Yeah.
And now I think the line item says like $200.
Right, because they can do it virtually,
So
electronically.
electronically, so they're not paying for their couriers, so you have to look in advance, at what could take it away, so the more I did is got hard items, so pharmaceuticals, the food, big on payroll, but payroll's going to go away because it's all electronic checks, but at least they do have some recordings, but that's all going to be internet, so just, look in advance of, whether it's your customer, the service firing you, or a rate increase will fire you, but all those other circumstances that you'll lose the business that aren't your fault.
So that was one incident. Has there ever been an incident where you just wondered, though, whether you can make it, or whether you were going to push through, or whether you should just, or just...
I think another lesson I could give is a big account isn't always a good account. They always suck your energy out, but a lot of them go belly up. So a lot of times I've had companies in financial trouble, and you try and partner with them as far as you can, and that's the biggest mistake you can ever make. Biggest mistake you ever make, and then they fold, and you're left holding the bag. All those services you provided, tens or in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars to try and be there for them because you think they're a large company, you think they're going to survive, and going through turmoil times, and that has another cash flow effect.
So how do you know that? Going forward, how would you discern that? What would your policy be on that?
I would cut them quickly.
Okay.
Cut them quickly. Because they'll get someone to do their service for a little bit. Whether they're the big guys or another, a boutique provider. But I would say try and talk it through, see what it is, and either shorten the billing cycles. So if they were on a monthly billing cycle, tell them you're going to bill them every 2 days, and you want payment every 2 days, or once a week, and so you're not held with a large account.
And then as far as the people side, I know we're dealing with many people. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah, now I'm running business with no employees, which I love. But, I really loved the people side of the business. When we were, 50 drivers, 100 drivers, even 200 drivers, I still liked it. I mean, we talked about 2008, 2009, my people would hate to go to a gathering because in a circle of 4 or 5 people, someone's company crumbled, someone lost their job, someone did this, and we were thriving during those times. And so my people didn't want to go and say how happy their lives were. And 4 sorrowful people are across stuff. And so, one measurement I had of success during that time was how many jobs could we create? How many families could we feed? How, people in transition and just keep growing. And so that was always a measurement. It wasn't always a dollar measurement. It was how many jobs we provided. But then when you get, over 200, then sometimes you may have not made the right choice. You made someone that's, out there, causing lawsuits here and there, and right or wrong or whatever. Lawsuits just suck, and drains you emotionally, financially, So I think sometimes the bigger you get more headaches, you get more,
Comes with the territory.
Comes with the territory. Yeah, and that's probably why I said, to bring in that executive group so you don't have to handle it by yourself,
So when you say that people came to you, so when you sold it, did you find the buyers or they found you? How does one position themselves with buyers? So you mentioned in your first year, people were looking to buy you.
Right.
Was it just industry specific?
Industry people. At that time, I was on the cusp whether to really branch out and really go really big or really do the franchise model, but I needed a flux of capital at that time. So I brought some investors in, and they were all industry people, and they really liked the model. They really saw where the company could go, and so they just basically, I knew didn't want to stay in the business too much longer. And they kind of knew that as well, and so it was an easy exit because it was basically an offer I couldn't refuse. There was no negotiating or anything else. They said, let's make it happy for everybody, and I think with the executive team, and they had already been in the business, seeing financials, seeing how things work, that there's no secrets, so they knew either what had to be fixed or what they could improve on, or the strengths or the weaknesses of the company.
So that was a happy, sad day? Mixed emotions?
Sad day. I tell you, I didn't work on the day-to-day business at that time, but I did have my personal office around the corner from my house. And when I had the business, I sat on boards. I worked for different groups, as and sat in leadership for certain, women's empowerment groups and Neubauer. And some of those board positions or leadership positions were 20 plus hours a week as far as the workload. And I had all that. And I was sitting home at 1 o'clock every day when my kids came home from school. When I exited out of the business, I had my personal office, and I didn't get home till 5 or 6 o'clock. I would create work for me to do. I would create this work, and then after that, I said, I'm retired now. I said, I'm going to close up this office. And I said, I close it up, and if I don't have an office, then I can't create work to do. So Yeah, so it was happy days financially, but kind of sad because I, trying to find some work.
Yes,
So,
yes, the next step.
Yes.
And so then you did go on to another
Yes.
endeavor.
So I did consult with several companies and partnered up with someone in the drug testing world, and he opened up Identify Biosciences and partnered with him for a few years, and then I started on this model with helping people and consulting with people for equity stake in their companies. So I do a little bit of that, and because I really don't want to be a business coach and business consultant. And my new platform is an online learning series. We've opened up just the last couple of months, Kaleidoscope Media, and we have online learning for female entrepreneurs, which is called Innovate Her Business Institute. We have one for the teenage market called E-Teenpreneur. And then we're going to have Can Do, which is a startup e-learning course. So you learn on your own way on a subscription model. Yeah, so that's kind of a new endeavor, and I love it because I'm with a great strategic partner, Dr. Teresa Ashby, and who's a business strategist. And we have no employees, so we just are writing course content now over summer and launching in September and October of this year.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So you're still involved, and now you're just sharing with others the expertise and the years of knowledge that you've had and gained. This is beautiful.
Yes. I really love to help business owners. I really love to help them grow. I like to help them through their challenges. I get phone calls all the time. Oh, my daughter's opened a business. Can you help her? And it's always basically the same messages. So we thought we followed it. And followed so people can find it. We always find that it's either money or growth or time or marketing. That's the four big issues. So if we can teach concepts to help people and the business owners on their own time as well, and at a nice level cost, we probably go in that market.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So how can people find out more about what you're doing or stay up to date with you?
Okay, well, they can go to the website innovateherbusinessinstitute.com and subscribe there on the landing page, and they'll get all the launch details coming out later on this summer.
Exciting.
Or they can contact me directly if they want to reach me directly at Laura@lauraneubauer.com.
And I'll put the information in, and maybe a little of that, I'll put the information in the comments and the description there. But I'm looking at you, and you look so fresh and young and rested.
It's a softball field.
And rested, and it's like if someone who's went through that, haven't looked like you looked through it, would work a day in your life, in other words.
Thank you.
So you did it, and you did it well, and I want to thank you so much for sharing with us.
My pleasure.
And may we all be so blessed.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you, our listeners, and I hope you were able to enjoy us, and feel free to contact Homework as well as An Empowered Woman, and we will share Laura's information with you, and feel free to join us and talk to us soon. Thank you. Take care.